But I thought this would be a good episode for Gabe because he likes Nolan, but
Time
he does
traveler.
not. He hates
For
this
the
movie.
most part, I like Nolan. I was disappointed.
Oh, you were.
And everybody, Ryan. So Ryan just watched it.
Like 2 hours ago, yeah. Or I got done watching it 2 hours ago. It
Yeah.
took all day.
I'm going to be a little rusty because I saw it in the theaters 3 months ago or something.
Yeah, I saw it a month ago.
Yeah.
No worries. William just wanted to talk about it, so that's why he's making us do it.
I watched it at home, and I kind of, I didn't really have much of a reaction. I thought it looked cool. I wasn't really into it for the first hour until the first reverse sequence occurred. And then I was like, oh, I get how this works. And then I kind of got into the movie more, and then it was over. So then I played at New Beverly, and I just saw it in the theater because I wanted to check it out because it seemed, it looks amazing. So, but seeing it in the theater with the sound and how loud it was, I was like, wow, this is a lot better the second time. I'm kind of shocked how much better it is the second time because I had a lot of problems with it the first time.
When you saw it in the theater, was it like that scene in Private Parts where Howard Stern is making the lip going like into the microphone and the woman is having an orgasm on the
but
speaker?
it was louder and more orgasmic.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either.
Just a bunch of New Beverly incel guys just
Yeah, pretty much.
having
There's so much bass.
orgasms.
In there.
There was so much bass
Yeah, a lot of bass.
that everyone had an orgasm. In Private Parts, Howard Stern tells a fake story about him making a listener achieve orgasm on a large stereo, which I don't believe was real at all.
That happens to me like monthly.
You have an orgasm on a stereo?
Yeah. I'll always catch myself just just chilling on a stereo and the right song comes on or the wrong song, depending the situation. It's usually
What's the right
in
song?
public.
What's the song that works really well?
That Ferris Bueller song.
Bah with the bah to bang to bang. And that first minute and a half, that build up.
When he goes, my name is Kid. That's what it really.
And then
And right when he says Kid Rock, that's when you bust and it shoots out.
And usually get escorted out of the wherever I'm at.
The Best Buy.
Yeah, the Best Buy.
The same Best Buy I keep going back to.
Raise your hand or make an audible sound for the podcast if you liked the movie Tenet.
I
like this movie a lot.
I like the movie, but I think the movie is very flawed and frustrating.
I'm closer. I'm leaning closer to no. I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
He said it was tight like an hour ago.
It was cool, but I won't watch it again. Like
it looks like we have one really liked it. I'm pointing at.
That's me.
You're just pointing off by the screen of my computer.
Gabe is now official host of the show.
Yeah, I think you need to take the reins on this one.
Hey!
We should make the guest be the host.
Actually, never mind.
The guest is
but
the
we
host.
have the full spectrum. We have
Like
one
that.
really liked, one kind of liked, but more so didn't, and then one. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna say I did not like Tenet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm easily entertained is the thing though. So like I was entertained through and the action was all right. I didn't like the inverse action. That was kind of lame.
That's
That's
the thing about this movie.
I know that's true. I guess maybe I didn't.
You just like the punches that weren't in
Robert
Pattinson.
Anything with Robert Pattinson though, I'm kind of gonna fall in love with. I'm in love with that dude.
Ryan,
I'd turn for him.
Let's let Gabe give his opinion because he has
you want
a real opinion because Ryan is just likes the sound of his own voice. I feel.
Well, yeah, I can launch into it
because Gabe, you're also a big Chris Nolan fan, and I'm kind of, I like him, but I'm not like super into him or anything.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say. I don't know if I'd name him in my top 5 or anything, but I really liked, like, I loved Memento, his early ones, and then Inception I loved, and like I pretty much liked everything I've seen. But then like starting around, what was the second Batman?
Dark
one?
Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight Rises.
Well, Batman Begins, right, and then Dark Knight Rises is the second one.
No,
Dark Knight is the second one.
Okay. At that one, I started
That's the one.
to,
That's his most universally loved movie. But go ahead. I'm curious about his take.
the second Batman
is
his.
That's what
Heath
Heath
Ledger,
Ledger, right?
To kick this off.
Huh?
We
That's
need a
Heath
hot take
Ledger?
to kick. Yeah, that Joker one. The Joker one is the Dark Knight.
Right. Okay. Which had a lot of awesome elements, and I probably like that more than Tenet. But I started noticing things about what he was doing that I didn't really like, which is like mostly in the writing. Like,
oh yeah,
I feel like he's like, what are the themes of this movie? And my characters are going to talk about it a lot.
Right.
And like they just have whole scenes where they're just like discussing what this means and why, like yeah, it bothered me. And
Gabe, you're starting to sound like an antagonist.
I am. Yeah.
That's the kind of
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean on that.
William is the protagonist of this episode.
Which, that's funny we say this because I just was looking it up on IMDb, and Washington.
It's his name. It's the protagonist. It's really stupid.
It's credited as protagonist, which I didn't know. But yeah,
like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, just what? Why are you calling them those things?
I'm gonna counter
they call
that.
the guys in reverse antagonists in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah,
they do. I've forgotten that.
Yeah. It's like so dense with bullshit that you're just like,
I watched this movie
remember any of it
twice this week, so I'm very aware of all this bullshit.
Just a crazy person.
It's like eight hours of your life, man.
So hold on. I'll get through the bullet points. So the whole projecting theme in dialogue, I'm just like really tired of that. And another thing that I've noticed, and it didn't bother me as much until this one, is just like Nolan never puts any blood in his movies. People get shot up left and right. No one bleeds.
There's no gory.
That's a good point.
Interesting. I didn't even know. I don't
know if he does it for the PG-13 or anything. Inception, it didn't bother me as much, and maybe it's because of the whole dream world thing. Is like things aren't supposed to feel super real anyway. But like, there's a whole crowd of an auditorium full of people that are getting shot up. No one bleeds. You know, it's
very good point.
Crazy.
Two very good points.
I felt the same thing. I kind of have a rule where I hate PG-13 movies just on principle, and
because they have no balls.
Yeah, they're sexless, which is a big Christopher Nolan problem. And there's no blood, there's no gore, and everything you're saying about that.
I bet he eats pussy. I bet Christopher Nolan eats pussy. He doesn't.
This is a Batman
You're
joke.
just here for shock value.
No, that's not a Batman joke.
Both. That is a Batman joke.
Every 10 minutes, I need you to say something that's going to make everyone gasp.
Yeah, just that puts everything to a halt.
Sorry, I should have waited on that.
There could have been such a cool. There could have been such a cool like reverse bullet scene going through a body.
Yeah,
with lots of blood.
They talk about that being
exactly. With like it's
in one moment he grates a man's face with a cheese grater.
Yeah,
and we don't see any blood.
And right before that was my favorite line when he walks back into the kitchen. He goes, "I ordered my hot sauce 45 minutes ago," and then he beats up all those guys. I'm like, "What hot sauce?"
And that's this is another thing. This is
you don't order hot sauce. You ask for it.
He's funny. He's he's like he's just like a knock around American guy. You know, he's not into all this fancy British stuff. He's like, I eat hot sauce. Yes. But that's a big problem with his movies, I'd say overall. And he's making these very expensive movies. They're PG-13. He's making them for an international audience. They have to be profitable. And like, this is one of his least profitable movies ever. It's also his most
Really?
expensive movie.
Well,
ever.
that's because of COVID, though.
Because of COVID. So it was like he's also producing his movies on himself. So he's trying not to, he's trying not to lose money because he has like full creative control. And I think Memento might be his, and maybe Insomnia are his only R-rated movies. But everything
Memento's R-rated.
Yeah.
I think, but Prestige, I know the original is Prestige, and everything after is like PG-13. And it also, I definitely think like Inception in this movie, you could switch the characters and they'd be the same. It'd be the same movie. It could be DiCaprio and Tom Hardy as like the Robert Pattinson character. Like they're just like these nameless, characterless agents who are are really good with guns, never get tired, always can like they need an Audi, they got an Audi. They need anything. They have unlimited resources and they can pull off these crazy heists. And it's just like he seems to think of what's a little gimmick. Oh, a dream inside a dream inside a dream, and then it's like slow motion, or what's or like people going forwards, people going backwards, interacting, right? And I think he's kind of reverse engineering the movies off of those gimmicks.
I kind of get that, but also like he messes around with time. You know, he loves time.
That's like his thing, yeah.
Since
Memento's the best one.
Since Memento. And like he and it's like he's doing things with sure, it's like he's dipping into like this well again, but if that's like a genuine interest of his, that's cool. But like he's doing things with time in movies that are like he's playing with cinema, like
which is cinematic. Yes, this would be a horrible book, like you would not want to read this. Your head would be, it would have to be different, right? But like by making it a movie, you can just see it and it kind of makes sense, right? Like like Inception going like that one dream within a dream being slower than in slow-mo because the time of it, like that's all he's just like he thinks about time in an interesting way that makes his movies at least interesting for that reason. I mean,
he should have thought about making this.
That's where
making this like 40 minutes shorter.
That's a whole new take on Christopher Nolan. He's good with time.
He's not. This movie was literally 2.5 hours long. It could have been 2. This guy's not good with time.
Yeah, that guy's.
Well, then let's go to the second thing that all his movies have like another theme or another issue all his movies has, which is a incredibly corny, melodramatic, sappy like love story. And I think the worst case is Interstellar. I mean, that movie is. I know it's about the end of the world. I know he loves his daughter, but I mean that's a sappy ass movie. And also, I think Inception's pretty sappy with DiCaprio, Marion Cotillard. So, like, I kind of like this one because it's not much of a love story. It's like the end of a relationship. Like, Elizabeth Debicki hates her husband. She hates Kenneth Branagh, and I kind of like that. I didn't have to have like gooey eyes of.
Yeah, but
David Washington falling in love with her.
He does. He like immediately does. And everything he does is he like risks his own life and everybody's life to like fix her though.
Well, that's a theme of, but he risks his life in the opera house to rescue all of those innocent people also.
So he's just a good guy.
He's a very good guy.
He has a complex. Savior complex.
Well, I wish he kind of had more.
Don't mean to.
I kind of wish they went deeper on that,
Well, yeah, he's very bland, I would say. The character is like bland and like underwritten. Speaking of a thing.
I disagree with you though, William, about the DiCaprio, Hardy characters. I mean, maybe they were as bland on the page, but I think those two brought much more to those roles than these two did. Sure. You guys had shat all over John David Washington in the Firm episode that I listened to.
Oh, really?
I was like, oh shit! His performance didn't bug me as much as all these other things. but he's definitely not memorable. Like it was just like, he's like you said, he's just like.
I thought that he was so uncharismatic and like that these scenes where you're supposed to be receiving this really dense information are just you're just like watching somebody not understand what the person is saying to them, and but being like,
Also,
oh yeah, totally.
I liked it more the
Pattinson
second
was good.
I liked it more the second
we're talking
viewing.
about John David Washington.
But
Robert Pattinson was
all those scenes that like first act where it's like all these scenes like with him and Michael Caine, like when he goes, it's like this guy who's not a good actor and has no screen presence. That's acting in a scene with somebody who does. And
talking about Michael Caine.
I have a different take on it because now that I've seen it a second time, which is I think the first time watching it, I expected him to react more, Adam. I expected him to be like, what the fuck is going on more? Like,
sure.
I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't feel comfortable in the situation. I don't trust any of these fucking people I'm around. I kind of wanted more of that like paranoia.
But what he should be doing,
and that would be realistic, and that would be so refreshing. Yeah. But
that would have
been, of course. It's like he goes to that. There's that early scene where he's getting introduced to what's happening with the lady, the scientist lady. Suddenly he's in a lab.
Yes,
and he has the slab of concrete, and he's learning how things are working, and they're just like they just launch into like the mechanics of these rules, and he just like gets it automatically. He's like, what about free will? And I'm like, what about free will? What the fuck are you talking about?
You're seeing something go backwards for the first time, and you're not like, what the fuck?
Right, exactly. Which would have been so refreshing if that was his reaction. That's like,
I would have spent days just catching that bullet. I would have just been in there just like, I'd be freaked out for like the first 2 days. And then I'd just be like, yo, this is tight. I'd be doing
like smoking a blunt and like
Instagram
lives, TikToks.
But also like at the very least, like, yes, that like reaction moment is missing. But in these scenes where he's getting this information and hearing this crazy shit, it's like, you want to have that shot where you're like looking at his face and he's like, what? And you're like, so I can picture Leonardo DiCaprio doing it.
But instead he's just
being, he's just like,
I kind of think hot sauce 45 minutes.
Cool. He's just cool.
He's just like fucking petrified of these other
He acts
actors,
like a cop. I feel like he's just acting like a cop.
Yeah. Well, what was he? He was like a CIA. He was a cop.
He's CIA agent.
Like ultimate cop. Isn't that what the
I'd be
CSU
interested to compare the two, like him and Leo in Inception. I feel like you could make good comparisons.
So sorry.
I'm talking about on the page
I get it.
But you know what I mean? Like that. These guys don't have histories. That's the thing I'm bringing. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We don't know what city they're from. We don't know, hey, my dad was like this, or I'm a Chicago. Like they don't have like any of this character.
Yeah, but maybe that's in the actor as well, where like like an actor looks like they have history, or it doesn't.
It's not in the act. It's not.
No, it's just not. If he would have written, it would have been a 4-hour long movie.
My third big complaint is just too fucking confusing. Like Inception, I was not confused. I felt like his idea was intact, and it was like, okay, they have a way of getting into people's minds and like putting ideas in their head where they're like interacting with them in their dreams, and they put them out into sleep. That made sense. Here it's just like, okay, so there's a parallel world happening, and then some people come from that, and some people have bullets that come from that, and weapons that and like he tried to illustrate it, but I felt stupid the entire time I was watching, and I blame him for that because I felt like it's a cool idea, and I really feel like he just had that was like, I want to do something where things are going backwards and someone's fighting with him and going forwards, and that's what I want to do. I want to make that happen, but like he didn't really make it.
I mean, it's sorry to cut you off. It's like he It's
he had the visual idea.
Maybe it's hard to like be so focused that when shit is like working and good.
Well,
versus for a long time, like period. On a maybe he's just like.
I think it would have made more sense if he just had, if they had a door at the beginning. If they had their own, if the scientists who showed him the gun also had a doorway from the beginning, that could have been a part of the demonstration. That could have explained a lot. So those they have those like double doors, the blue and red, where they walk in one side and then walk out the other.
Yeah,
they're constantly using those. And if they had demonstrated that in like the first act, that would have cleared up so much because
only in that one space, right? That was only happening in that one.
It's only one.
No, there's like multiple. There's like 5 of those. They're all over them.
That's how they created the whole. Yeah, they had the whole army going through. They had like
there's one in the airport. There's one in the airport. There's one in where the car chase is, which is Estonia. There's one. They have their own with the soldiers on the ship, and then inside the facility where they're putting the bomb, they even have one that Robert Pattinson uses, like in 5 seconds. That's how it gets like
just wherever it's like convenient for the
pretty much.
Yeah, this one has it too. So
what would you use that for if you had one in like your room on day to day? What would you use that door for?
I mean, I would suck my own dick.
just
like a guy. He's just like running back and forth between the 2 rooms trying to get it. He's like, I'm going to trade stocks tomorrow.
To try to suck your own dick.
I'm going to stop 9/11 tomorrow, but today I just got to get. I see myself. Okay, I'm going in. No.
The whole movie just reminded me. I've told you about this kid when I was in middle school. There was a kid who once a month he was like
trying to suck your own dick.
Once a month he would try to do.
He would try to do this. No, he would do. He was like super autistic, and he would.
You tell a story about this kid every episode.
I love it because it's so fun. It was like the best time. It was like once a month.
You're saying
you would have a backwards day. He would have a backwards man day, and he always wore like a 3-piece suit every day, and he wore it backwards, and he would walk backwards, and I'd be driving home from work or from school. And you'd see him like in the street, just walking backwards with his backpack on his chest, his suit fully backwards.
But dedicated enough. He's not like just doing it when he gets to school. He's doing it the entire day.
It's like
even when he's by himself.
The entire day. He sits in the chairs backwards.
That's a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was awesome. And we all love backwards man. And we all loved it.
Cool. You should become friends with this kid, honestly.
I could never catch him.
You got confused.
I was going the wrong way. I was on the inverted world.
You're the antagonist, no, for real, you should have become friends with that kid.
The obvious thing is that you would just
I don't know.
You would just become he's like a billionaire oligarch, but he should be so much richer. I mean, he should be the most powerful. Kenneth Branagh in this movie should be
the kid who was walking backwards.
Shut up. He should be the hot tub time machine guy, like in part 2. Like he should control every business in the world. He has a time machine. Is the technology gold.
New though?
It's from the future being sent back to them.
So he's not actually like in control. So he like this is what confused me is like how long has he had these how long have these machines existed in the reality that Washington lives in?
Since he's like 18, since Kenneth Branagh has had access to this technology since he was like 18 years old in the movie for like 30 years.
I thought that's just when he found his first gold.
When he found his first gold,
see how confused
in the capsule.
Yeah, that was from him from the future.
Guys, you just have to watch it 3 times, okay? And then watch every YouTube video and an explanation, and then
call Christopher Nolan, talk to him.
And then go almost shot by shot through the entire climax. And then it makes perfect sense. It's like it totally comes together. But
but that's people aren't going back in time the way in this movie, the way you are.
Yeah, it's like real time.
People going back in time in time travel movies. That's not what's happening here, right?
No, Gabe is saying that in like Back to the Future, he he like immediately zaps to another time. Whereas in here, they're going like, in reverse.
Like rewind.
Robert Pattinson is... So do you know who Robert Pattinson is in the movie?
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's
he's the child of... He's Kenneth Branagh's son. He's the kid.
That's what I thought. And they never do that. They never say it. And that's
okay. So this is and this
halfway
is a big,
through, I was like, that's his kid.
And this is a big problem.
Damn.
Because Robert Pattinson is seeing his mother and father and not reacting, not having. And if he had that emotion, if he had any emotion, he sees his mother shot, bleeding, or like he sees his mother like in a car.
But who's to say that's their first
pointing
time?
A gun?
That could be like that could be like the 20th time he's seen that though.
Yeah, it was like a thing. He'd always just watch them.
I don't understand.
At the end when
a grown up and he's all
because he's gone back in time. He's living his life in reverse.
So he's been going in reverse, but then he gets in the but wait, how does he talk in a way that John David Washington can hear him, understand him? Shouldn't he be like
Because when you go back out another doorway, you're going the right direction.
This could be the sequel or the prequel, the whole story of how he learned to talk and move.
No
and not look like he's going in reverse.
That's kind of a better movie, I feel like. A better idea for this time thing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I've been backwards the whole time. It's like, whoa.
I know a guy, Adam Defrin, can talk backwards.
Don't bring up. I
just wanted to.
It's relevant.
No.
Well, Gabe knows that. He went to college, Gabe and I. So yeah,
I know that. I understand the implication, Adam.
Yes. Okay.
Did I tell you guys about the kid that went to middle school with?
He can say any word backwards like immediately. He can say any phrase backwards like immediately.
Can he walk backwards? I'm going to mute Adam again. Once a month.
He's muted. He's unmuted. But no, like so you can go in. Robert Pattinson in the future. David Washington has been like, "Hey man, we're gonna be time traveler superhero buddies. All I need you to do is go back in time and live your entire life in reverse, and then come out of another door." And then we'll be best friends. And then at the end, you get shot in the head and you sacrifice your life just for me. And then Robert Pattinson's character's like, I got to do it, man. Otherwise, the entire world will end.
Yeah, the world will end and his mother will die. I think that's what he...
That's basically it. He goes...
That's why he's helping
I don't want my mummy to die. If my mummy die, I'd be so sad. He's like... Not me, mommy.
He's like, you were the best stepdad I've ever had. That's why he went back in time to save him. You weren't the last, but you were the best.
We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah, so the
I don't really understand what you're saying, to be honest.
The kid's name is Maximilian.
This movie
the last four letters of Maximilian are Neil backwards.
That's so stupid.
Is that true?
Stupid detail.
That's true.
There's a lot of that stuff in this movie.
A lot of backwards things.
Nobody reacts, even when he saw Washington on the at the first.
So what are you saying? So Robert Pattinson,
he's the kid.
He went back and then
he spent years living backwards. That's what I'm saying. That's the only way that we would...
And he can just perform life duties and talking.
Well, because then you go through another doorway and then you're living.
Now you're back on track.
Okay, so here's another trippy thing. So the climax of the movie.
I'm leaning over. This movie sucks. The more we talk about it, I'm leaning into this movie's not good.
So the climax of the movie is like the first event of the entire storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It happens the same day as the opera.
Diving off the dock or the yacht.
Yes.
Yes.
And the
woman diving off the yacht.
That's wife. Not the climax, but yeah, that and the nuclear bomb go off and the opera are like around the same day. And then
how do you know?
Michael Caine talks about that. He's like, 2 weeks ago, a nuclear bomb went off in this city in Russia.
Oh.
And it's like, that's one of those scenes in the movie where you just know, like, this is so stupid. This is like the most important scene. This is like, that's every mystery. They're like, they'll have like one random character about 22 minutes into the movie who will say like explain everything, and you're like, this is like the most
boring fucking scene ever. Like, why are these idiots talk? What are they talking about? I'm not paying attention.
Because everything in a movie is like plot, and then when you hear like, especially in a mystery, it's like, oh, this isn't about plot. It's like, oh, this is the clue.
I have a thought now about what we were talking about earlier about like, why is Robert Pattinson able to live backwards? Does John David Washington meet Robert Pattinson? Like, he's going backwards. John David Washington is going backwards at the beginning.
No, this is his first. This is his first time through.
Normal speed.
Would not be able to think.
Just giving it a shot
in reverse.
Yeah.
No. That's. Oh yeah, he's talking to everybody. Okay.
And
I was like, maybe that's why they can talk.
There's another fan theory that I think is true, which is the scientist showing off the gun is the creator of the bomb, the algorithm.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because they just say it's a female scientist, and she's the person who's the first one who ever.
But the future
like
be her future self.
Yeah.
More women in STEM.
Yeah, and why?
Jeez.
What do you mean it's confusing? Come on, this makes perfect sense.
Christopher Nolan is saying.
That's what he's trying to say.
Why would you then choose to be like, but now I just want to work in this lab and fuck with this?
Yeah.
No, that's her first time.
She doesn't know yet. She doesn't know that she's going to invent it in the future.
Why doesn't Robert Pattinson, Mr. I learned to look like I'm moving forwards, even though I'm actually
He's not backwards, Adam. That's
it's a good theory, I think.
But yeah, go on.
He's going normal way.
You're saying that. I think William's saying that he moved back. He went backwards for a long time, then went in again. And he went in again, and now that's when John David Washington met him.
Pattinson has been going back, either back and forth,
that's why
or one long back.
I was going to say, why doesn't need a mask?
Yeah.
You only need a mask when you're going backwards.
But no, you need a mask. You need a mask when you are in the realm that you are not supposed to
backwards
be in.
realm.
Right.
The back. Well, because everybody is from this realm, from the forward realm.
Oh yeah, everybody starts forwards.
Everybody starts forwards
in life.
It's not a choice.
Yeah.
What
makes you think?
Also, they have the ability to. They can bring oxygen tanks back in time. They show it like they have because they in the ship there's a giant orange room that Elizabeth Debicki's in and she's not wearing a mask, so they can reverse oxygenate.
But I thought that was like a thing about like, oh, your lungs would not be working right if you were in reverse.
Your lungs
but like
work right if the oxygen is reversed.
Yeah, but like, what happens to your blood? Your blood reverses too.
Yeah, they don't go that deep. I don't.
Let's get to the real question, which is what happens when you go to the bathroom, and that's the only thing.
Does it go in or out?
Turds going, and you're just like, oh, this feels fucking weird.
I would love it. That my dream. I was thinking. I'm watching dishes today, and I'm just thinking about like it'd be so funny if there's a scene where John David Washington takes a piss like off like a building, and then later on he's down there, and then he gets like pissed on. He's like, oh man, like. I want to see jokes like that. I want to see jokes.
No,
I want to see him like making
shooting
breakfast.
From his head up into a guy's urethra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What?
I want to see things like that.
Just trying to help William out with this idea.
Playing baseball.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He's receiving his own pitch.
Yeah. It's like, you know how like in like body swap movies, it's like, oh, if you were a girl, if you were like a guy and you swap bodies with a girl, you'd like feel your boobs and stuff. But like,
totally.
if you switched to like reverse time,
everything is backwards.
You'd be like, how does this feel?
You become a girl emotionally.
Yeah. Your outie becomes an innie.
I just want to see like a parody of this movie. There's so many good jokes.
Yeah, there's a lot of parody, ripe for parody.
Like
what happens when you
like a Wayne's parody?
What happens when you fart?
And okay, I just thought of another complaint. There's two times that he dies in this movie where he doesn't really die. He gets brought back.
Yeah, he loves sacrificing himself.
Huh?
He's always sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
Right.
He's fucked up.
I gotta let my cat out.
He's got issues.
But I'm just like,
therapy.
there's no even though, the movie explains how, or makes an effort to explain, I'm sure, how he's alive again, but it kind of communicates to me that like the stakes aren't really that high for this guy, because he's just going to come back. He'll be fine.
Well,
it's true.
It's really confusing.
The first one was a fake cyanide pill that just induced a coma. So that's like the most unbelievable part about that is like, why is it in like a metal case? Like, why isn't it just in a freaking white and red pill?
Why does it need to be shiny?
And actually, cool. I just rewatched the first 20 minutes or something, and yeah, it struck me how like when he comes back, the guy's like, so after we've brought you back from your coma and rebuilt your mouth,
because apparently they ripped all his teeth out.
Yeah. Which I like that detail is just like, so for the rest of the movie, those are his fake teeth, and he's got no residual pain from that procedure.
Would have been cool if he had like really huge fake like
chiclet teeth.
Like
like wow, that's crazy. Goes backwards. Oh my god,
his mouth hurts a lot. And he's like,
oh god,
and
he's like backwards.
He just eats yogurt and like really soft foods and like pudding. He's like, oh, my mouth, my
just always wincing.
Pudding the whole movie. Yeah.
And my teeth.
I with giant teeth eating pudding.
No one.
Can we go back before they took my teeth out?
There's no one eating either.
There is a restaurant scene.
He always orders food and then he doesn't eat.
He never got it. He asked for the box. Oh, the one like bully. Well, he's not a bully. He's a henchman. Is eating their food.
Thank you.
Right, just moments before he goes in the back and says, "I ordered my hot sauce." That's why he's not eating. He's been waiting for his hot sauce for 45 minutes.
I see.
He improvised that line.
I'm guarantee he did.
Is that the only joke in the movie?
Is that really?
Yeah, pretty much.
He did?
He's got weird IMDb.
He's got weird. It has like a stupid, like quippy dialogue, kind of.
Yeah, and I feel like he's gotten worse. He's just getting worse with that. I was surprised to see that. Like I thought he just wrote this one. He's only. I thought Nolan only wrote like the last few movies he did, but he's written them all. So I'm like, okay, so you've just gotten worse with the whole theme thing.
What about Jonathan Nolan?
He just focuses on the visuals.
I thought Jonathan Nolan wrote most of the stuff, but like he didn't. He wrote the novel version of Memento, and he was a screenwriter on a few other things. But most of the stuff I just looked at it.
Christopher Nolan's made like 12 movies at this point.
Christopher.
It's just very funny. Adam was like, "What about Jonathan Nolan?" It's like, what?
Stupid of a thing to say.
The same thing. I've noticed the same thing. I had the same complaint with Westworld.
Oh, that's a horrible show.
So much dialogue about what this means and what's happening.
Oh, that's Nolan. Wow,
it's his brother. It's his brother.
Yeah.
Lots of theme being discussed, and
and again. I mean, that one show that hooked me because there's a lot of people having sex with robots.
Ryan? What about if it was instead of Westworld, it was backwards world, and you got to experience life backwards.
Backwards Westworld?
No, it's not Westworld. It's just like
backwards world. Backwards
Westworld would be pretty fun. Where they just give you a cowboy hat and you have to put it on backwards. Like, this is so crazy. I'm gonna one day
about
of the
Ryan,
month.
the kid that Ryan went to schools with, backwards.
I'm riding a horse, but facing the butt of the horse.
Yeah. Dude, backwards world sounds awesome.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's just really
Christopher Nolan was that autistic kid, I think, when in high school.
No, but I'm sure he visited Lincoln, Nebraska, and saw that kid walking down the street, and he goes, "Oh my god!"
I also forgot
my whole approach to cinema. I found.
I think he watched Primer.
That kid's in a parallel.
This one I think is such a ripoff of Primer. There's so many of the
Thank you for saying Primer. I hated Primer.
I think he was inhaling Primer probably when he wrote this one.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he watched Primer and was like, I want to make an action movie version of that.
Right. And I think both things like, I don't know. I'm sure he did his research, but I think that's the problem, is that he took his research and he's like, now let's like make everything exactly as I researched it and try to like make that, dramatize that. And it just
Primer and Tenet both have the same thing that makes them complicated, which is there's off-screen time traveling that you have to imagine. Oh, I know how. Okay, I don't know how these characters got here, but in the future they're doing something and then they're coming back, and then now it's like overly complicated. Mm-hmm. So they're showing like they're doing things off-screen, and they're just like, you have to figure it out afterwards.
Yeah,
but
exhausting.
I mentioned to Adam Looper. Yeah, I love the movie Looper, and that was
Looper's
a very
much cleaner,
a very simple presentation of time travel, and it's like, and he's even said this in interviews. It was like, you think too much about it, is like, yeah, you're gonna start poking holes, but like if you don't, then you just have fun and enjoy.
Looper has a more emotional, satisfying storyline
for sure. Yeah,
this movie has. It's not emotional, because also the scene at the end where John David Washington is crying and like he's sad about Robert Pattinson because he knows he's the guy with the red string who is going to get killed and shot in the head and is going to sacrifice himself, and he's known more the whole time. He's this like guardian angel guy. Mm-hmm. And then John David's like crying. He's like, I forget what he says, but then Robert Pattinson's like, think of it more like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And it's just like,
and you're just like,
I'm not like emotionally, I'm not as emotional about this as these characters.
Mm.
Yeah, no, by that point I was like, can we be done?
You just don't know.
I need to drive back to Burbank. I was in Anaheim. I drove down to Anaheim.
Oh, I remember.
To see that.
Because
it was the only theater open.
And that's your problem, man. That's not the movie's problem.
It is the movie's problem. I blame the movie.
The thing I didn't like about this movie is that I saw it in Anaheim.
Oh, you gotta open with a lead, man.
What the fuck is going on?
I watched this movie at my convenience.
I had such high hopes.
I had extremely low expectations because so many people said it was confusing and bad, and that makes a big difference.
We were moving in opposite realms.
And I'm not like a big, like I said, I'm not like a big Nolan fan. Like I watch his movies in the theater because they look good and they sound good. That's the thing I like about them.
Yeah.
I don't care about the emotion or the story.
I watch movies in the theater to do the classic popcorn trick.
Just with whoever's by you.
To dump popcorn on them when something crazy happens?
Yeah, when the fan cam comes on you.
Just pour popcorn on your crotch with your dick out.
Okay, Adam. That's not how the popcorn trick works. The popcorn trick is you put a hole in the popcorn bag. The girl reaches her hand into it. She grabs his dick. Adam, he just thinks he can dump it on your lap.
Your dick, which has been like severely burned.
It's just salt. Salt everywhere. Hot butter. M&M's, Reese's Pieces stuck to
it. The bag.
In the middle of the theater.
You did the bag.
Right.
Okay, so the other thing is when John David dies the second time in the car crash, the car blows up.
He didn't die, did he?
Yeah, we know, Ryan. But instead of burning alive,
no, I mean I thought he got out.
No, he doesn't get out. Instead of burning alive, he gets hyperthermia.
Oh, because they explained that a few scenes before.
Hyperthermia or hypothermia?
Perfect example of overthinking.
Fire's ice and wind is farts and yeah, you're right. Like the Looper method is the best.
There'd be no gravity either. There'd be reverse gravity. He would just fly away.
And they go gravity. Well, they go gravity works the same,
Poppins.
But it's different. That's all they said. That's how he explained gravity. In the movie, they go, take some time to orient yourself. Gravity works the same, but it's a little different. And
I just thought of a good idea. Like they're like at a nightclub and he's thirsty and he's like wants something to drink. He just burns his face. He just like melts his face, like burns his like lips off and his whole. He's like, I need it. He goes back to that like CIA agent guy. He's like, you gotta give me a new face, man. I melted it.
By the end of this, he's got fake teeth, fake face. He's just like a full on.
Does he ever have to say the secret code word Tenet?
Yeah, he says it a bunch of times.
He does.
Did he? Not a bunch.
He says it to the Indian woman.
Once
it's very hard to pick up, though. I would say I watched a little bit of it with subtitles last night. That was
because it sounds like he's saying tent.
Yeah. I'm here for the
movie. Should have been called Tent.
Now, if you orgasm in the reverse world, you die. Does it hurt?
No, it's like a double orgasm.
I think it kills you.
No, it goes
back.
Not
only are you giving an orgasm, you're also receiving an orgasm. So it's like all to yourself.
Guys, I gotta go suck my dick in this machine. I gotta figure this out.
You could just replicate it by just taking cum and then like blowing it into your dick hole with like a straw or something.
Adam, Jesus.
And then just seeing what happens.
Right on time.
I'm just trying to help William understand that it's more within reach than
this is the thing. Adam's honestly been trying to get William over to his house to do this for months, is the thing. And he somehow works it in all the time.
You keep choosing not to for some reason. I don't get it. I'm just telling you that if anybody wants to try that at home, there's a way. Yeah. It's very easy to time travel in that sense, you know.
Moving on.
Subject.
Yeah. There's a scene in the movie that they kind of brush over that I think is I think it's the worst scene in the movie. So my pick for worst scene in this entire movie is the boat race when they're on these like boats.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's really dumb. And it's cool like right out of a James Bond movie. It's like he's hanging out with the villain. The villain's rich, you know. But his Elizabeth Debicki just knocks Kenneth Branagh out the boat, and he's like, and then he's just like he's gonna
dead.
die. He's gonna die and drown in a life jacket. And then John David Washington rescues him, and then Kenneth Branagh's like, "I guess I owe you my life now." And then when he's mad at his wife who tried to murder him, he just like throws a magazine on the bed. He's a super villain. He's like a murderer.
No, he throws a pillow.
He throws a pillow. He's like an arms dealer. He's an international arms dealer.
Balls off and shoving it in his like cut throat.
Well, he pulls his belt off and he puts his cufflink in one of the furthest belt hole, and then he starts wrapping it around his hand. And then
tried to murder him.
And then he brings out a little step ladder because he wouldn't be able to hit her face because she's like 72 feet tall.
Yeah, she's like 6'7", I think.
She's tall.
She's so tall.
This is a case of an actor.
Oh God, here we go.
You're being shorter than their love interest, which is kind of unique in a big movie. We've talked about this a couple times.
And they cheated, and it's fine.
The height. No, they didn't cheat at this time though. He's shorter.
Yeah, they just raw dog it.
They're on Apple.
No, they raw
the time.
dog it.
She's sitting down.
But in the movie, he's shorter, visibly shorter than her.
The opening scene.
Yeah, I know, Adam. He's a shorter actor.
No, I'm saying that doesn't happen that much in big movies.
He's like Kevin Hart height in that opening scene, standing next to Dwayne The Rock.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Hart in The Rock.
In the movie The Rock.
Yeah.
She's taller than everybody in every movie she's ever been in.
Yeah. Good for her.
Widows, she's like enormous.
Actually, it's tough for tall women. I've heard.
Don't be She could kill every one of us, rip us apart limb from limb. She's from a nation of giants. Yes. Yeah, like we're
true.
I
don't want to piss her off.
We are punching up. Okay, we are going after her.
Okay, fair. We're not. We're standing up for ourselves.
Yeah, we're defending ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, this boat scene,
it's funny.
What are those boats and how fast do they go? Because he could easily get knocked out if they're going like 70 miles an hour and he hits the water at that speed. What's the name?
I'm sure he could drown. I have no idea what they're called. It's like some rich person fancy thing I'll never understand.
I think they're called go fast boats.
Go fast boats?
We're like, oh, interesting.
This is how poor I am. I'm like, yeah. Yeah,
sounds rich.
I'm buying
There's
it.
not even water in
very
Nebraska where Ryan is.
Yeah.
No, I remember not liking that part though.
There is a boat called Go Fast
Yes,
Boat.
it's very stupid.
So one
This
thing that's
movie
interesting.
has to, it has a lot of rich people. It's like luxury porn or whatever, like.
But
That's one of the
Because it's a
deals
spy
of the movie.
I think it's just like poor writing.
It's like a Gucci ad.
Good one,
or something.
Ryan. That's pretty funny.
No, I think it's like poor writing
Gucci.
because it's like, yeah, you can get a shit ton of sponsors. Was there any sponsors? Do movies have sponsors anymore?
Oh,
Yes.
I think they do.
That scene where he drinks that Pepsi was pretty wild. He just cracks it open.
Does he really?
Like,
And then it inverts and keeps reverting and inverting, cracking it open.
I'm watching.
No matter what timeline you're in, Pepsi tastes great.
I'm watching the Go Fast Boat scene right now.
nice.
So
It's a little.
She's like, you can't turn these things around when he tries to turn it around to save Kenneth Branagh, and he's like, watch me or something like that.
So he technically
Very
saved the
stupid.
world by saving him. And
Yes.
not letting him drown.
That's
right?
He says
And he didn't
that's
know
his
it,
plan.
though.
No, that was his intention. He said, I can't let him die. I need him to find the 9 pieces of the
But he
algorithm."
didn't realize that the bomb was attached to his Fitbit or whatever he had, his pulse reader. Didn't they say that's what was attached to the bomb? So when his
Correct.
pulse stops,
Correct,
that could have
but
been the end of
also-
the movie right there.
just
That had
every
already-
moment, there's so many questions.
He's
Yeah.
constantly saying like, you got my pulse up to 95. You got my pulse up to 110.
he's obsessed with his pulse.
Yeah. Pulse.
Yeah.
I've got a pulse of somebody 20 years younger than me.
I thought that was just like
Yeah,
his
he
like
says that.
fetish.
My Amazon Fitbit told me so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's wearing, I forgot that he's wearing a life jacket, and then he's
And
like,
a helmet.
I guess I owe you my life. It's like, no, you don't. You owe
He was
the
face
life
down.
jacket.
Yeah, the life jacket is really a testament.
And
it's
there's
a
another.
testament to
That's one
having
of
a
the.
life jacket.
That could have been another sponsor opportunity.
He's a
Damn.
supervillain.
He
doesn't
doesn't
care
have you on this
shit.
movie, Ryan.
Yes. Working
He wouldn't care.
sponsorships.
Sponsored
You should
coordinator.
just shoot both of them.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
well, you think like El Chapo would or Saddam Hussein would be like, I owe you my life. CIA
Yes.
agent.
William, they're also fathers. They're also people too. Jeez, dude.
That's beautiful, Ryan.
They
It's
have
beautiful of you to
family.
humanize Saddam Hussein.
Okay.
They gotta buy groceries. They gotta poop too. Picture Saddam Hussein pooping.
They got to ride fancy
Well,
boats.
picture it going in reverse.
Yeah.
Imagine him
Okay,
getting
so
hung in
he's-
reverse, huh? Hey,
So he is face down.
Yeah.
Of course, he has to be face down so he can save him. Okay.
he's Russian. They can't swim.
And he was. Is that?
So
It's just a nasty stereotype.
now the big like thing I realized watching it the second time was like, what the hell is even going on in the climax? So the climax is so overly complicated with the blue team and the red team.
Yes.
Please
Yes.
explain
absurd.
it to me.
It's
So,
peak,
like, in
the
the-
movie hitting peak. It's peak absurdity.
Well, it's cool.
You know,
Well, like
of the
so when Robert
concept.
Pattinson's in the blue team and he's in his helicopter landing, he sees himself in the Humvee. First he sees the explosion.
Who's inverted? Blue or red?
Blue's
Blue
inverted.
is inverted.
Oh
So
boy,
he
here we
sees
go.
the explosion of the bomb that it ends the scene with John David Washington. But he sees the bomb go off and then he sees the Humvee pulling the 2 guys out of the hole. He sees
Oh.
himself rescuing them in the first shot.
I didn't catch
That-
that.
And then when he runs
They're
down a
drinking
hill,
Pepsis.
they're wearing life jackets. No, and then
As
he
they're getting dragged.
Pepsi life jackets and
he fires his gun at the Humvee, and then later on you see him driving the Humvee.
so he's
Getting
shooting at
fired up.
himself. Yeah.
Why-
That ending
why
scene
is-
is so overly complicated because I think when he made Dunkirk, he got really into this. Did you know Dunkirk has 3 timelines?
Yeah, it's like a day, an hour, and
Wait, what?
3 days in 3 days or something
like that. Yeah.
So Dunkirk, everything is like
with
cut.
Spider-Man?
No. Not Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield?
He's not in that movie.
You're thinking of Hacksaw Ridge.
Yep. Yeah, it is what I'm thinking of.
Not even 1917 Hacksaw Ridge. No, so Dunkirk has 3 timelines that are cutting, and I need to rewatch it because I did not pick up on that. I actually thought Dunkirk was really confusing.
That at all. I didn't like Dunkirk either.
It's super confusing. So in this one, he's cutting between reverse time and forward time. So you're constantly seeing things that happen later, but then you see the other side from the other perspective of the other character. And then Robert Pattinson in the middle of that scene sees a doorway. He goes through it, and then he comes out and he reverses his direction.
Yes,
he does like a double inverse reverse.
What the fuck?
A time. He does like a time.
Very convenient. Very convenient doorway.
Yes.
No, there's a doorway right where I need one. Boom, get in there. Do a little reverse action.
He's going for the double inverse reverse. 9-5, 9-4, 9-5. Olympic move.
He's just a diver diving off, an Olympic diver diving off, doing a flip, and then never hitting the water, just continually flipping back and forth.
Dude, imagine if you were like on a roller coaster and that was happening. You'd be like,
and it lasts, and the dive lasts 2.5 hours long, and I have to sit here and watch it for 2.5 hours long.
Fuck Westworld. I mean, Kenneth Branagh should just have opened an amusement park of time travel games and rides.
Ooh, yeah.
And then he would have endless money, endless power.
The dunk tank where the clown keeps going, like you hit it once and it's just like waterboarding this clown.
I would like that movie.
Yes.
Called the waterboarded
She just opened a
clown.
sick amusement park.
And it's about this clown who's sitting in the water. Like the dunk tank is like, it's a super in-depth movie about his personal life. He's like a stepdad that lives in a trailer just outside, and he's trying to be the best dad. It's DiCaprio. He's trying to be the best dad and also like the best clown, but he's got a couple DUI, so that's why he has to work at this traveling circus. And so every time he gets dunked, he has a flashback of like a mistake he made in his previous marriage or with his kid. But it's just continuous.
Do you have this movie outlined behind you on the wall?
That's one of that's the dark green.
Just pitching it to us right now.
Yeah, it's good.
And Nolan has not responded to any of my emails about it.
Gravitron in reverse would be cool.
Oh.
Like
wouldn't it be the same?
I've never ridden on a Gravitron, but I always thought it sounded cool.
Really? You've never ridden on
that? That's where you like stand up, right? And then it just
he
spins
doesn't fit.
Fast.
He's
too
tall to be led on the ride.
Said I was too tall for it.
They
she said that about a lot of stuff.
You must be this tall or this short.
Yeah.
So if you've never ridden on it, you might not know. When you get fast enough, sometimes the pad that you're on slides up.
Yeah.
So your neck could have been broken if
my mom saved my life.
If you're
Thanks, Mom.
At the ceiling.
Thanks again, Mom.
And the whole time they're playing music really loud in there.
Yeah, it's like techno or something, right?
What's the point?
It sounds cool. I think I might do it next time.
Simpsons episode where they ride the Gravitron and Bart and Lisa are in a fight and Milhouse is in between them.
Yes.
And they spit and it like hits him.
Oh yeah.
Good shit.
That's the kind of joke I'm talking about.
Matt Groening should have wrote this movie.
Yeah.
Well, if it was like a comedy, and if it was about a dumb guy who was confused, who just like, I don't want to say about, a guy like Adam, like an everyman, like a guy, an everyman who just is a little confused, needs a little help, but he's going to ask the right questions that are entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
He watches the bullet. Washington sees the bullet come back into the gun. He goes, oh, okay, so what happens when I shit? What is fate?
The scientist is like, I don't know. We haven't
got that far in
see
this
turd.
Like, okay,
no, she comes out with like a box and opens it up and there's a turd and
yeah.
What? And then it just like flies.
Oh god.
It crawls out of the
He crawls up his pant leg. Like, ew.
I had a feeling you'd ask
That
that.
felt weird. That felt kind of weird.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
What else can we shit on?
Or it's like diarrhea, and it's like Alex
All right.
Mack from The Secret World of Alex Mack
like
when she turns into
buckshot.
like the Capri Sun puddle.
It's just
But
like,
it's like poo. It's like diarrhea.
He just goes, it's like diarrhea, and then he just starts laughing.
I'm just yes Andy. I'm yes
See,
Andy.
that's not how
this would be a perfect scene in the movie. Adam talking to this scientist.
Yeah, I'm yes Andy Williams' idea about the.
What about diarrhea?
he just diarrheas on the floor, and the scientist kicks him
And
out.
I'm like, oh, that's weird that it's
He's
diarrhea.
playing with it with his hand with the rubber glove on. He's just playing with
Yeah.
the diarrhea coming in and out of his hand. You got to drop it before it comes back.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm doing the thing where it's
No,
like
it's like
it
a-
goes back and forth between hands, and it looks like I'm juggling.
It's like a really embarrassing porn magazine, and it just like folds up and like lands in his pocket. He's like, "Oh, that's not mine.
Yeah,
Seems to be your
Yeah,
magazine.
it's-
I think it's your magazine." So, no.
pages become unstuck.
Or
They like snap open.
it's
Can
like
I
a
just
dirty. Yeah, go
do
ahead.
another poll
Oh, go ahead.
with you guys about
Yeah.
like, can we just unanimously agree that this Tenet was way more confusing than Inception, right?
yeah. Well, yeah. Because
Yeah, yeah,
Inception's like a
the
box within a
height.
box within a box within a box within a box. It's like the Russian doll.
It's One
effect.
Direction.
The band One Direction should have been in it, but the
Their
music they
music
had, they
is
scored
like
it.
Part
If
of
they
them
scored-
were in Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Whoa.
Now we're in our own Russian.
Whoa.
doll.
Are you incepting us right now?
Yeah, we're trapped in Gabe's maze of madness.
That would be a good name for the inverse
I
circus
wish he had
show
made
that this
That's
villain
the
did.
Inception
should have
2
done in
instead
Tenet.
of Tenet.
Yeah, just do more dream shit.
Do you
There's
think
room
he could?
for
He
it.
could
There's room for
think
it.
he could save it?
He could say,
And,
what?
And he could save this
He
Tenet
could combine.
franchise and then make Inception 2, and that is actually what's going on through
No, I think he needs
Tenet,
to cut,
and then
cut loose of
cut it
Tenet,
out.
let it fall. And
Well, it's just going to go right back
sad.
into his hands.
One
Inverted
thing I
rule.
think that
Wow. Yeah.
one thing
We're
I think that
trapped
makes
now.
Inception better than Tenet is that in Inception, they're not doing a morally just thing. They're actually sabotaging this guy's like
It's like a business
company. Yeah, they're like sabotaging the business and they're like stealing his money and taking control of his money, which I think is like
They're thieves.
they're thieves. And then in this one, they're like, we're trying to save the world and everyone in it.
right.
It's like a
Just
more
let it
it's
go,
more of a
man.
cartoonish premise, you know.
It's like,
Yeah.
let it go.
There-
I'm fine. If the world just all of a sudden didn't exist, would we
Yeah, they
even
meet
care?
Ryan.
We wouldn't even care, and we wouldn't even know.
They meet Ryan and like halfway through the movie, and they're just like, "Never mind. Let's just."
They're like, shit. Let's go get a Pepsi.
Yeah. Great idea. And then they walk off, and the movie ends.
I mean, it's again, it's like a no stakes, because if everything just ceased to exist, there's no pain, no suffering. Whereas like a nuclear bomb, radiation poison, like there's no
Survivors, or you're saying
yeah,
the
there's no
problem.
survival.
God, fuck
You're
this,
pro-
man.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
If the lights just went out, it would. It's not
You
that.
prefer
I mean,
total annihilation
stop
instead
it.
of a
I prefer to
large
work.
tragedy.
Yeah, I mean, time stopping.
You would
is
not make it on Team Tenet. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Now I'm watching this part again.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful
goes.
dive.
I'm forgetting though who she thought that was.
She thought it was her husband.
Diving off.
For all the listeners, the part was when she dives. She sees herself diving.
They're
When
on
she
the
kills
yacht,
Kenneth
and
Branagh.
it's the opening scene or one of the opening scenes.
She thought it was her sister.
No.
She thought it was her husband, the one she just
Oh,
killed.
That's not what's going on, Ryan, at all. She says
At the
But
beginning, she says, "I
thought it
saw
was
him
a
die."
woman.
I saw a
She thought
woman dive off
A
a
woman
boat,
dive
and
off. Like,
and I was
Oh,
jealous of her.
disappear.
I was
Yeah,
jealous
yeah.
of her confidence. She's
the
like
whole movie
jealous.
is about a woman scorned.
Yeah,
You know what I
No,
mean?
I thought
Really.
she said it. Oh,
Really?
she didn't think it was her husband.
Yeah.
Her husband's
I
a
thought she-
fat, gross guy.
but he just like
Right.
disappeared.
But she thought
Awesome.
it was another one. She thought it was Mistress.
Oh my
right?
god!
Mistress,
She thought-
yeah. She's like,
she
oh,
thought
this
he was like-
sucks.
She probably thought that woman was cheating on her
and that's how she
having
escaped.
sex with her husband.
She goes, "Oh shit, your wife and kid is coming, so I'm gonna jump into this middle of this ocean and swim for 7,000 yards back to the shore. That's crazy."
Yeah. And then again, watching this moment, we don't have her reaction.
Yeah.
She has a confused reaction. She goes like, she's just kind of like looks like off camera, like confused.
Everybody acts like they're in like a BMW commercial or something like that in this movie.
Well,
like
because
that cool like luxury car commercial.
Yeah.
Right.
One other thing that's funny
is
a
great analysis.
Reading like interviews with the actors, none of them had any fucking idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, none of them understood what was happening at any time.
Obvious.
I'm sure it was even more confusing just in script format.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I mean, at least you can like enjoy the visuals and the sound design and stuff in this movie.
So why'd they agree to do it? Because it's Nolan? Yeah.
Nolan.
I mean, I don't know. It's still cool. You get to like...
It looked cool. There's some
novel
cool
scenes in this movie. That's
it was a great idea. I was so excited for it.
I think you got to watch it again, Gabe.
But you could still appreciate the scenes where the concept is being played out. You know what I mean?
I really didn't like the first inverse fight scene was like lame. It was kind of lame. It was unique.
I think that
I think
he made a sound design mistake in that scene actually, because you know when stuff is in reverse, like when a gunshot happens, it's like and it like has like a reverse sound to it. But I think you're saying the scene seemed lame, Ryan, because the punches there had no sound. It felt like guys just like kind of like pushing each other, like
that's what punches. What do you want to? Pew pew.
Or just what
punches don't have sounds. It's like a thud.
I'm fucking talking about. I'm agreeing with you.
But not.
No, but I'm saying like, well, it should have like a thud.
Ryan, why did you think was
sounds
lame?
all the time?
So you think the sound effect was lame about the scene? Ryan, tell us what you thought was lame about the scene.
I want to see a guy punch a guy in the face. I don't want to see a guy pull a punch away from a guy's face over and over, and then they're just tussling.
Well, I mean,
it was cool to see and how they fit. It was like intriguing to see him film this, and it was like pretty well done how it was filmed. But
you saw him film it? You watched?
I was at like on set.
You were on set.
Yeah, I worked sponsorship on this movie, and they cut everything I suggested.
You just were always like, hey, maybe they can say that they want Pepsi in this scene.
It wasn't as like edge of the seat as I think they were trying to sell it as. That opening fight scene and like the gun, especially because you know everything's already going to happen. You see the gun holes in the window.
Yeah, do you know why he shot the gun?
Why?
Because it's him. Because it's him coming through the door. Do you know why he shot the gun in the glass?
Why did he? To get rid of the bullets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then he knows himself, he'll grab the gun.
He doesn't
want
to kill himself.
Because after the bullets are gone, he reverses it and then shoots.
Because he knows what's already going to happen. And that was kind of cool. In the second time we saw that same scene, which basically we watched the same movie twice throughout this whole movie. It shows the same scene and then it shows it in inverse.
Yes.
And that's why it was 17 hours long. But it was like cool because in the middle of that fight, he's starting to realize he knows his own moves. And so he's like blocking them and stuff. But like just nobody... In it, when I see a fight, I want to see the two people just like kiss lips in the middle of the fight, and none of that didn't even happen.
Different. It's different. Really different.
You only like the Batman,
and it goes back to the PG-13
from Batman Returns.
Exactly.
No, that's an NC-17.
Yeah,
that's NC-17.
John David Washington just starts tongue kissing the antagonist.
Also, they're not supposed to touch, right? If you're not supposed to touch your
he's covered in clothing.
Skin to skin touch.
Oh, I see.
Something.
Dang, I want to see that sex scene where you have sex with yourself in the inverse world, but it's like all kind of tantric because you have to take off the gear, but then the second you actually touch, you both just like explode.
Well, you can't. You have to have sex like Prince.
The ultimate climax.
You're just like blowing on each other's earlobes and like rubbing each other with scarves, and you
tantric, yeah.
Then you masturbate in your own corner of the room, and there's no actual.
And You guys make Christopher Nolan seem like such a pervert.
Yeah.
I wish he was more of a pervert.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, he like Christopher Nolan eats pussy. He's not good at fucking, so he eats pussy. But he,
I don't like how you say it. Like I've heard people say how to do it. I've heard people say that sentence, but it just sounds different how you say it.
He's learned how to do it like online, and he tries to do it like exactly like by the book.
This is very specific. You're talking about yourself, and I'm.
Yeah.
I want to move on. So what's the message of the movie?
Not talking about myself. I'm very intuitive.
What's the lesson? And we don't go for the real lesson. I have to be explicit because Adam is constantly trying to give the real lesson of the movie. What's a good jokey lesson?
There is the real lesson. Well, you started, I guess.
All right, let me try to think.
What do you think though?
Yeah, let's start.
The lesson or the message?
Groom them young, you know. If you're gonna
young, what?
Well, I mean, that kid, he saw like he's little young Robert Pattinson. He's just like, if you're gonna turn a person into a time travel secret agent, you gotta like groom them young, kind of like Star Wars with the Jedi, the Tenet team.
That's like any sport, you start young so they can be better. I don't like that Star Wars reference.
It's true that I feel like maybe there's a reading of this episode 1 that's just Liam Neeson grooming this young boy.
He does.
You're special. You're special, Anakin.
All right. Well, let's see. What else can we think of? Don't burn someone in the reverse world.
Freeze them.
What is this movie about?
He could have just thrown a cup of ice water and killed anyone in this movie.
Inevitability.
Yes.
I am inevitable.
Very good, Gabe.
Fate? Are they trying to touch on fate?
Well, I think you're right. Like it doesn't have one of those things because it's like it's like an exercise of time for Christopher Nolan. It's like being like, oh, I'm gonna just do this thing now with time. I gotta tell a story about it.
He's just like, bored.
Yeah,
he's
like,
just, I guess I got to make another time movie.
Another fucking time
he said
movie.
he came up with the
rent's due in a couple of weeks. I guess I got to make another freaking.
He said he
movie.
Came up with the gimmick 10 years ago and then spent 10 years coming up with a story around it. Wow. So it's completely contrived. Yes.
This is probably 10 years.
So maybe that's the lesson. Don't write a movie just based on like.
I think that's the lesson for him. Take less time with your movies. And they'll be better.
Yes.
Yeah. Damn.
Try to tell a story.
At a certain point, you can't tell if what you're saying makes sense or if you just know it because you've said it before. Or he's read, you know what I mean? Like you've read your words before. So
imagine how like frustrated he was on set all the time. Just like having like, no, that you're going this direction. He's going.
They're like, what?
Doesn't anyone understand this? Like I heard there's a story of like Michel Gondry on a set of one of his videos because he does a lot of videos like this, like little gimmicks, and then he like makes them as complicated as possible. And then there's like a story of like Spike Jonze being on set one day and just seeing him like screaming at the crew and holding like all these storyboards and just like really frustrated, like because no one can understand what the hell is going on.
Sounds awesome.
But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make a movie, just make a cool, fun movie for normal people, okay, Chris?
But this movie,
if you're listening,
the best. Don't make a movie for cool, normal people.
Just make a movie about like a bunch of normal people who have a fun weekend. Maybe some of them learn to love. Maybe some of them get something off their chest. It's like the big chill.
That sounds nice.
That'd be cool.
I really liked. Or I don't know. I appreciate he's good at. I think he's one of the few like. You gotta have a spectacle to have a big, theater release movie. You know what I mean? Like a movie theater movie. It has to have spectacle in it, and he just works in this specific thing of time and just comes up with different ideas. and just tries to play those ideas out. But to me, like, so you see those in like the set pieces, you see the time, you see him doing these tricks, you know, it's like a,
he did it in Memento.
It's like a silent movie of like where
I love
do
when
tricks
Adam gets
with the camera. Like,
have you seen his first movie? The following movie, like super low budget. He shot on weekends with his friends. That's all a time gimmick too. It's all out of order.
But this is like a physical gimmick with the camera.
I want to say to the listeners,
Adam is
it's editorial also.
Adam is in his inside the actor studio position on his chair.
Just to paint the picture.
He is leaning
he's
back,
waxing poetic. He's waxing poetic.
You know how like that Jean-Luc Godard movie, the 3D one? That movie is socialism. Like no, Goodbye to Language.
Right.
That movie is like him just doing every 3D trick he can think of, basically.
Yeah.
And this movie should be more like that, I think, with this idea that he's doing, where he's doing this very specific gimmick, like a spectacle gimmick thing in a film, but you need to like exploit it as hugely as possible. And he does that kind of, but I don't know. It felt like there was
here's the thing, Adam. Godard in that movie, for real, Godard has a home video 3D camera, and he's doing all these little gimmicky shots, and he does little tricks. And there's actually one moment where one of the characters literally farts on screen, and that's not a joke. That's like Godard, like the daring film director of the 60s in France, has a fart, and that's actually what I wanted from Tenet. That's the thing I thought was missing. So
an inverted fart.
Yeah, an inverted fart. Like, whoa, that felt
like a
weird.
Rob Schneider movie.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to ratings. Let's everyone give their rating.
Hold on. Do you think it would have been a better movie with Denzel?
Every movie's better with Denzel.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, William and I talked about how bad we thought John David Washington was, and William had said Wesley Snipes, and if he was like the right age, Wesley Snipes would have been awesome.
No, Wesley Snipes now.
Yeah, he'd be fine.
And the whole movie is him trying to invert his taxes.
I gotta say, the second time, that's funny. The second time, I didn't think John David Washington was that bad.
Interesting.
No, I thought he was good. He was playing. I'm sure he was told to be just play. He was just playing stoic. Everybody was just playing like stoic.
Yeah. When you guys did the episode of The Firm, do you remember shitting on him in that?
I didn't even know he's in
I remember.
I kind of do.
So is he the kid that gets the cut in that movie?
No,
he's not in the movie.
He's not in it.
You
were talking about Tenet when you made that. Right. So you had seen it.
Yes.
But
I said, I think
Black Klansman. I think we were talking about.
Oh, okay.
I think he was bad.
Thought he was bad in that.
I thought he was bad in that as well. I didn't know who he was. I just was like, why is this guy who's not good the lead of this movie?
I didn't know.
Making it shittier.
He's nominated for Best Actor, but yeah.
I mean, Denzel Washington and Denzel Washington's son happen to both be the best actors. Wow, that's a fucking amazing coincidence.
Apple tree.
We were talking about Nicolas Cage he's like like one of the best nepotism actors. A lot of big actors are from nepotism. Nicolas Cage is one of the best, I would say.
Calm down, you're getting mad.
Yeah,
he tries the most.
Are you comparing Denzel to Nick Cage?
I'm saying John David Washington is like an actor of nepotism, and he's just like, why the fuck is this guy a movie star?
Who's Nicolas Cage's?
Francis Ford Coppola is his uncle.
I didn't know that.
All of the Coppolas are like all over Hollywood. Talia Shire, Jason Schwartzman.
Wow.
They're all over.
That was I'm sorry for the audience. You had to hear that. Utterly pointless.
He's so
unfunny.
He's the most worked up I've seen you in a while, too. Are you okay?
No, it was a mistake. Obviously,
like I said, in this, the moral of the story: Adam never does a bit. He always tries to. He gets serious and he gets very angry.
I'm just trying to I'm not fucking joking around with anything I'm saying on the show. I'm being very serious.
Well,
it's okay.
There's many great. I mean, Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland. There's like
I'm not saying that
actors.
is a bad thing.
The Stiller.
All right, calm down. Let's move on.
He's not saying that it's a bad thing.
That's the energy I've had for the past couple of minutes. Yeah, my bad.
John David Washington could be.
My bad.
Look, a little face-off energy
guys.
would have been nice. I agree.
Yes.
Do you wait? One last question before you do ratings. Is that what's coming?
Yeah.
Do you think Chris Nolan called him JD on set?
Absolutely.
JD, can you do less? Can you look more freaked out that you're here, please? Yeah.
Good, cool. I hope he did.
I don't think he directed the actors. I think he was just yelling and screaming and looking at his watch the whole time.
I bet he called him Denzel's son. Hey, Denzel's child, could you please ask about fate in this scene? Don't be freaked out about things going backwards.
You know how like Kelly Osbourne and Jack Osbourne
are like, talented and great. Yes, let's move on.
He should be more like one of those celebrities.
They're talented. Jack Osbourne is great. Love Kelly Osbourne's music. Love Kelly Osbourne's music. It's great. Yeah. Okay, they deserve all their success.
Okay, yeah, totally.
So ratings.
Okay,
let's all give her. I'll start. I actually gave it 4 stars because I got to say, I love the footage of the shit going backwards.
Yeah.
I can watch these backward action scenes all day. And I wish I wish it was better overall, but look, it's an action movie. It's a PG-13 movie. I normally don't like these, and as far as these go, this is like pretty good, you know. I also love the score. The music is by the guy who does Donald Glover's albums and did the music for Community, and I'm shocked how good the music is.
Yeah,
it's not Hans Zimmer. No, Hans Zimmer was busy making Dune. It's the first time they didn't work together.
Yeah, the score is cool, and the sound design is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we were doing. Okay.
All right, no, go. You go ahead.
And like the.
Hold on, William, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Adam. Sorry, I'll go ahead.
I forgot what we.
Gabe, I wanted to give you. We got to guess. Adam, one sec. We got to guess. Go ahead, Gabe.
These are ratings. These are ratings out of 5.
5
stars, right?
3 out of 5. Yeah.
We use the letterbox system because on letterbox.
Ryan, go ahead.
I told Gabe about letterbox. He never joined.
Adam, go ahead.
Are you directing now?
Air traffic
finish,
control.
William. Finish.
I said 4 stars. Okay. Like I like the music. I like the I like watching the shit go backwards, and I like the climax. I like seeing. There's a scene where like a building falls down and then it rises and then it's shot again.
Yeah, that's cool.
And both halves of it, like first the bottom half blew up and the second one the top.
And also,
half,
I love the movie Primer.
movies.
So this is like action Primer.
Oh, you love Primer?
I don't even know what Primer is.
That's the movie that Gabe said he hated earlier. I am ambivalent, to be honest.
I mean, I'm on the spectrum. That's obvious. Like now, knowing I like these movies.
Oh, that's true.
With no, I like that.
4 stars is a lot for you.
It was obvious.
With no emotion.
Before, just FYI.
With no emotion, I love it. It's like, look at the fire truck on the highway. I like this movie, Bobby.
yeah. I like the fire truck.
When he's on the fire truck and he's like on the ladder and he has a little bomb and he makes a little hole and then he moves it to the side.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another freaking break in the plot. He puts on a fireman's outfit, a firefighter's outfit, to get onto this fire truck.
Look, they have a gold bar. They can do a lot with that resource.
But then the second a cop shows up, they just shoot the cop. Like, you don't even need a costume at that point.
Well,
Who
it's
are
like
you hiding from?
It's a shitty Estonian cop, so it wasn't like much of a threat. Right, and they also don't kill the cops. They do the PG-13.
No, they just shoot the tires out.
Cops are so impotent in other countries.
Yeah, they're over there just not murdering their citizens every day.
Yeah. Well, they're also like they don't have guns in a lot of countries and like.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're not murdering all their.
I'm just saying, like, it is funny to see cops from other countries being like
in Mexico,
these guys are a threat.
Like in Mexico, where the cops are just executed by the cartels.
Yeah, totally.
Getting testicles shoved down their slit throats.
Damn.
But yeah, Japanese cops don't have guns. Most cops don't have guns worldwide. It's only in America. Of course.
That's what my point was. Anyway.
That's a kind of bow tie, right? When they do that?
Yeah.
Colombian,
Isn't that
Colombian
where they pull
necktie?
Colombian necktie where they
Colombian
pull it
bow
through?
tie.
But it's a bolo tie.
So I really liked the sound design in this movie, and like I like the aesthetics of this movie. And like William, I really like those set pieces. I find that very fun to watch. The backward stuff, I wish it was explored a little more. But that pacing of this movie and the sound design and stuff, it just has like a really good move. It just move like, even though it's just so stupid and dense,
it's slick
that hurts it. But otherwise, I think it would feel like it moves very well and stuff.
Well, he cuts everything to the bone, which I think honestly kind of hurts it. Because so many important things happen so quickly.
Yeah.
I wish this movie was longer. That's a hot take.
Not knowing what's going on.
That's a hot take.
My biggest problem with the movie is the central performance, and I think it takes the movie down a lot for me.
I wish you would watch it a second time, because then I could have had that opinion. We could have shared the opinion of watching it a second time. Yeah, I know. You were playing video games.
Ryan and I had some work to do, some business to attend to.
Oh, so what'd you rate it? What's your rating?
I gave it a 3 when I watched it a month ago. Thought it's very interesting, and like there's parts that I like a lot, but it's like too flawed and like annoying and like kind of pointless to like really. But I liked it,
You both are so generous.
Well,
yeah. Well, I'm also rating it on a.
We should have let Gabe go first. He's the guest.
I'm rating it on a.
I think I already know what he rated.
Just pointing out manners.
I'm not rating this like an art film. I'm rating this like a.
Yeah, you rate it on its own merit.
Summer blockbuster.
Look, you take a couple bong rips and you just watch a bunch of cars crash backwards, and then people talk backwards. It's fucking, dude, it's trippy.
Poop goes into buttholes.
Dude, I wish. That's the one thing it's missing. A bong hit backwards. Oh my god.
Oh hell yeah.
That would be
John David Washington does
and
that.
You don't like you're becoming unhigh as
Inception with weed. Now that's a movie. They do 5 layers.
Hell yeah. Harold and Kumar get incepted.
Yeah, every time they get higher and higher and higher.
Harold and Kumar go to Inception.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Dang, what are they doing? I'll text them. That's a good
fictional characters, Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
I don't know who's receiving these texts, but I got
Dude, what about a movie where you had your contact list for all the characters from movies? And you're like, hello, Indiana Jones.
Like the world's worst impressionist setup for comedy. Like, Jack Nicholson's on the line.
Oh, hello, Indiana Jones.
Let's get that Mad TV impression.
What about if they're just like the worst characters from movies?
Oh, Frank Caliendo. Okay, I'll admit that. Gabe, why don't you just explain?
My rating would be like I feel like you guys are rating it for like not just yourselves, but for everyone, like what everyone goes to look for in the movies. And
I personally rate it for myself.
Okay, me too. Yeah. And I'm like snobby, like a film snob, but only about like specific things. So I give it a 1 star.
Nice.
You guys both mentioned sound design.
That's cool.
That's cool. I like it. I love that kind of shit.
Go big or go home. That's what I say, man.
You both mentioned sound design. To me, sound design and all those stars, it would count for like a 1/4 of a star. So I give it.
Shocking.
I give it a 1/4 star for the sound design.
At the New Beverly, the sound was one of the most incredible soundtracks I've ever heard in a movie theater. I couldn't believe it. It just blew me away because I had been sitting at home for like 16 months with like fans going on and like all this stupid, like just kind of like getting bored looking at my phone during movies, and like I was literally like getting depressed watching movies.
So
this.
the theater, it wasn't the sound. It was just
that's a good.
I was in like a sensory deprivation
after
tank.
like a year. Yeah.
And then when I got a front row seat,
and because they all do all film, right?
Yeah, the theater is not that big, so it's like the perfect size. It was just like a mind blowing experience for me. I could have watched anything though, honestly. It could have been like
but that's a good movie to have first back. I said that sentence like it was a Christopher Nolan movie.
I didn't drive to Anaheim.
Quarter star for sound design, and the action elements were there but vapid.
Let me ask you something.
Opinion, they have no meaning behind them.
It's fair. It's very fair.
They're just kind of like, again, I think he was just like, I need to make some kind of story that makes people fight themselves going backwards. And I don't think he did a good job. So half star for the action sequences. And then what's the last quarter star for? Just Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, he always gets at least a quarter star. And I don't know what it is. I'm doing another podcast with somebody else that we're just rewatching all the Twilight movies.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, dude's a goat.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. The Lighthouse. He's really good in The Lighthouse.
I haven't even seen it. I've only seen Twilight.
That was the last movie I saw, actually, was The Lighthouse. But that's the last movie I saw in a theater. The ArcLight.
Good time.
Hollywood.
It's great and good time.
Of course.
He's obsessed with accents.
Yeah. Hey,
he wants
so this might be a little sidetrack. Are we not going to talk about the dude from Kick-Ass playing that Australian commander?
Oh, yeah, I forgot it was that guy.
And then in the middle of the monologue, when he's explaining the red team and blue team, he just kind of drops the accent for a lot of nice. He just doesn't do a good act. I don't think he's that great of an actor. He's just buff. He's a buff army guy.
The dude from Kick-Ass.
That was him, right?
Yeah, he has the beard.
Yeah. He
and he was in
he's
Godzilla.
married to like an old woman.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah,
you need to criticize. You need to criticize a man's wife.
Yeah,
okay?
when your wife is married to you, which is basically
classy,
an old man, dude.
He made a movie called Nowhere.
Nowhere.
He plays Sean Lennon. A beautiful older woman directed it, and he married her. Okay, and he's happily married.
You don't need to defend him either. It's just as bad that you're defending him.
Look, sometimes a ham sandwich tastes better when it's sometimes a ham sandwich tastes a little better when it's a few days old. You know what I'm saying?
It's like pizza, always better the next day.
It's the most disgusting analogy.
It's like pizza, always better than 20 years later.
Yeah. Well, if it's like McDonald's hamburger that you could put on a shelf and it never decomposes.
Yeah.
My eyes are burning.
Anyways, so
that's fair. All right. Well, Ryan, what's your rating?
I gave it 3.5 because I'm easily entertained and it was cool to watch it. I'm not like a movie guy. I'm not like I don't get so invested. It was not a good movie, I'll say, but like
3.5.
I wish there would. I agree with you, Gabe, on the action thing. I wish there would have been more, like the scene in the kitchen, that real John Wick kind of fight scene.
Yeah, I know. I just explained how they met each other, Adam. You don't need to send little cute texts. He's sending us article. He's sending us gossip.
I thought I was sending a photo.
Articles.
I thought it was a picture.
Ryan is speaking. I'm muting Adam.
Oh my God! How it doesn't matter. He's going to put it in the text.
Hold on. Sorry. Just for the audience listening, I'm just going to read Adam's chat. How did Aaron Taylor Johnson meet his wife, Sam, inside their relationship amid ... capital?
And now he sent a thing that
Capital's
is
the name
a
of the
link
website.
that it says click to download.
I thought it would paste in.
It's only 44 kilobytes,
show you guys
but
what's
I am
going on.
not going to download that.
That's okay.
So, okay. Even though you 20 minutes ago said you actually decided you're with me.
The movie was not good.
You give it 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars. That's what I gave it before I made the decision.
Oh, you guys already okay, right?
On this app or whatever. But
You guys don't let this conversation skew your ratings. You rate it before.
Sometimes
I rated it halfway
rating.
through this conversation, but because I always forget to do it. They're like on this app like Instagram.
I raised my rating on the second viewing of the movie. I think the movie's better. I think this movie you gotta watch it 2 times.
Yeah,
I guess it's not a surprise. I guess
that sounds like a trick.
You gotta watch. You should be able to watch it backwards too, and it's like still work. You know what I'm saying?
That would be cool.
Okay, if you're gonna make a movie that, and I'm about to go off like Adam did a minute ago. If you're gonna make a movie over 2.5 hours long, don't make it a movie that you have to watch twice.
Ryan, why don't you explain to everyone what you do all day with your precious time?
I don't watch two.
You live in your parents' basement.
I don't sit here and I don't watch. I can't make it sadder. I don't want to sit here and watch the same movie like 4 times. Yeah. That's like I might as well just kill myself.
All right. I'm a movie guy.
William
so
likes to do things that make normal people
to rewatch
themselves.
I don't understand how you are in a long-term relationship and you live with your girlfriend and you watch a movie for 5 hours.
He does nothing all day.
I don't think your girlfriend exists.
Well, my girlfriend goes to bed at 8 p.m. and then I can watch whatever I want.
Dude, she doesn't
Lucky
exist.
Boy. By the way, I just want to say that I think it's cool that the lady's older woman.
Oh, here we go.
Adam,
I don't want people to think
Adam,
that it's I think
you're
it's
a misogynist.
Weird.
You started this
podcast
homophobic
using the
earlier.
F word. Yes, nobody's worried about your opinion on dating older.
I was speaking from the bullies.
You think people who eat pussy are bad at sex?
No.
He's like,
I'm just saying he's too by the book.
A weak move.
He does it too by the book.
You're the antagonist.
Not in the Christopher Nolan sense.
You are not the protagonist.
No, in the Christopher Nolan sense.
Exclusively.
If my math is correct, our ratings give this an average rating of 2.875 stars.
And that's probably a star.
Well, mine's the only rating that counts. I hate to say it.
Your what?
Yes.
My rating's the only one that counts,
Oh.
Because he's seen it twice, you're saying?
Because I run the Twitter.
Right.
For the show.
Yeah. He's right. And we wouldn't get those 3 likes if it wasn't for your ratings.
I'm grateful for those 3 likes.
But unfortunately, Gabe is right. This movie is
us. It's all 3 of us.
It's not beloved. A lot of people didn't like it. This is a nerd movie. I'm a nerd. Okay, I'm a nerd.
So you like Primer? It makes complete sense why you would get this 4 stars.
Yeah, I'm on the spectrum. This movie works for me.
I did think it was. It could have been cool. I mean, the action was cool when it was in real time or like non-inverted time. In the restaurant when he was beating up all those dudes.
That's your favorite action scene?
Yes.
What an insult to Christopher Nolan and his...
it was
the one like before the time stuff starts happening.
Yeah, and then the time stuff, and then he's fighting himself, who is apparently this badass fighter that was just established.
He beat up on that part.
You didn't know he was fighting himself?
I didn't realize that until you guys were talking.
Brutal. Adam never understands the movie. I mean, that is
he doesn't. We could watch The Wedding Singer and he won't get it.
I like
complicated.
I got it like maybe 5-10 seconds before it was happening. So I'm with Adam there. I didn't
know who it was. I knew it. I knew when the second Robert Pattinson saw the face of the guy at the beginning, like when they were
and he lets him go.
I knew that it was. I thought it was both of them. I thought it was Robert Pattinson and him, and he maybe saw himself and was like, "Oh, I'm not going to kill myself. So scoot, get out of here, guy."
Ryan has an amazing ability to follow complicated movies, even though he's not.
This movie was not that complicated.
See, whereas Adam has written and directed 2 feature films, and
this movie was confusing because it was poorly written and overly like detailed, or like they just went like they didn't. It's just stupid.
Yes,
but it was not confusing, Adam, or it was not.
Right.
It's okay.
Sorry.
And dating older women's cool.
But
I
you're
know,
the
that's
only.
what I'm saying.
But
No, I'm
Ryan
saying
is,
she's cool for dating a younger man.
Ryan is
Gotta put your
alone.
proper-
Oh, that's
I
really
think.
insulting, Adam.
Why?
You don't think he's cool for dating an older woman?
No, I think he's fine. I mean, I don't know. I don't have an opinion about him doing that, to be honest.
There you go.
But I think it specifically is cool that she.
Well, you don't think it's cool that he's dating an older woman?
No, that's not.
I think it's cool that anybody's dating
Not that-
anybody, man. This has been the loneliest year of my life.
I mean,
No
why
love.
is it different
Adam,
than Sun Yi and Woody? You know,
What did you say?
it's very
What does
different.
that mean?
It's not his daughter.
age difference wise. Oh yeah, I forgot about the dog.
Woody Allen.
I forgot about that. She
For
was
a
the
Gonna wrap
daughter.
this up,
Fuck.
man, and you just
For
bring
a
up
split
weird
second,
shit.
I thought you were talking about Toy Story.
Or Ashton and Demi. Oh no, that's a similar thing, I guess.
It's gossip.
sounds
It's all
like- Ryan is the only one who did not like the main shtick of this movie. I mean, that was
I
back
thought
with
I
it.
really that's exactly right.
which is
I
like, did you know that going in? Because that's in the trailer. Were you
No,
like,
I knew
"Oh,
it.
this
I
is
knew it.
I
stupid."
didn't know.
I knew it was going in, but I didn't like that hand-to-hand combat fight scene. It was cool when there was like an army. That was kind of cool, visually speaking. And then when like the building went, like William was saying, the building was exploding.
Oh.
But the hand-to-hand combat scene was just kind of, I don't know. I didn't.
Well, it's supposed to be disorienting. It's not supposed to be like.
But
a
it
Jackie
wasn't
Chan
enough.
coordinate-
It wasn't a disorienting. Jackie Chan is disorienting.
All right, we're
Whoa,
In the best-
We gotta
imagine
end
Jackie
this.
Chan in this
In the
movie.
best way.
Jackie
Oh,
Chan
imagine.
Jackie Chan as
Don't-
Robert
don't cut it yet.
Pattinson, and Denzel as
Robert Pattinson.
Robert
Chris Tucker.
Pattinson. Just
Chris
Denzel is
Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Denzel as Chris Tucker.
That'd be
and-
awesome if he played him in his biopic.
Well, I really appreciate it, guys. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
just
yeah, it was
usually
fun
at
having
this
you on,
point
Gabe.
we usually
No,
talk for about 40
Gabe,
minutes.
we
and then-
appreciate
Just kidding,
you
just
for being on the show and tolerating this.
Thanks for having me.
Now we got to record. We got to have this going in reverse, and so it's going to be like a 6 hour.
This is Ryan's only human
Ooh,
contact
that's a good
for the
idea,
week.
actually, Ryan.
Yep.
You should do that for a little bit at the end. That'd be cool. We'll keep it. Oh, now you done. That I would have learned that.
Wine.
Yeah.